where do I start? I did run a mile on the treadmill prior to me going out there. Hello, long time no see. Today is Memorial Day of 2025, and I haven't been very active on YouTube because I've been really busy and a lot of stuff has been going on. I believe the last video I posted was about the mayoral elections in February, so it's been a while, so let's catch up for a bit. I am recovering from a cold that I had last week. It's a lot better than it was last week, let me tell you that. And so family weekend was 2 weekends ago. And it was a lot of practice. There was a lot of practices that involved for family weekend because we were practicing for a performance that the school puts on every single year. It's like a play. So people dance, people sing, people dance and sing. It's a very musically talented show that gets put on every single year, once a year during this event. So there's a lot of practice involved in it, and I was saying to myself, it's like, why are we practicing for family weekend if family weekend, well, like, my mind in February was like, why are we practicing it now if it's in May, of all things? Like, May is so far away from now. And now I understand. I 100% understand why we needed all those practices, because let me tell you, there's a lot that goes behind the scenes of what the family members actually see in that play, and I'm gonna talk about that in, I guess this is gonna be like a little behind the scenes of what actually goes on where people the people in the audience don't see. But let me first, I'm all over the place. In April, we had track regionals. This is my first time running track. I like to run. And I ran the longer distances, meaning I ran the 200 and the 400 meter races. The state track meet is in June, and I'm looking forward to that one. So yeah, so let's get back to family weekend. So family weekend was one of the most exciting weekends, but I also pushed myself out of my comfort zone every single activity that I chose to participate in. I participated in the opening ceremony. So the event was basically welcoming the family members to family weekend, and I said like 3 short lines to people. That was absolutely terrifying. Oh my gosh. And I did it I appreciate the support system that I have here, because people, like staff members, will literally step out of their way to make you feel as comfortable as possible. So during the opening ceremony, I had another staff member stand right next to me because I was scared, because it's terrifying to step out of your comfort zone, and if you do it with support, it makes things a little bit, it takes the edge off of your nerves just a little bit. So I did that. It was raining on Friday, so Friday the 16th, it was raining. So we moved the outside parade inside. I mean, the parade would have gone a lot smoother if it was outside, but it was inside due to the weather. The parade was fun. It was a little overwhelming because people tell you to walk out and walk down the middle of the aisleway in front of 100+ strangers. And then the play was the big portion of the performance. That's the main performance that everybody comes and sees every single year. So the performances consist of dances, singing songs, people singing solos, people singing in groups, people singing in small groups, people singing with the whole entire choir, all of it. So it was all 100% musically talented people sharing their musical talents with their families. This was my first year participating in the play, and I decided to participate in 4 parts. I was going all out with everything, which was actually terrifying. I got to the point when I was practicing prior to the performance that I got scared of the dance. I was so nervous. I was like, I'm gonna forget it or whatever. Because once I figured out that, once we started stage play practices, and once we started those were in like March, late February, early March, I started becoming nervous about everything that I was doing in the play. It was scary. So I started sharing my scary thoughts and feelings with my closest teachers and stuff like that. And they had a plan for me. And I appreciate they had a plan for me, and they told me to not worry about anything. I'm like, I'm gonna worry about it. If you tell me not to worry about things, I'm gonna worry about it. So I'm a constant worrier about literally everything going on. I just worry about everything. So I'm very grateful for those stage practices, even though I was sharing with people that I would go to bed anxious every single evening before the morning play practice or the afternoon play practice the following day. Yeah, so my corresponding teacher was the stage director on the stage, so she was always there. After the dances were done, you exit the stage on one side and the next group comes on. And when the next group is coming on, there's a solo in between. There usually was a solo in between a dance and the following dance because everybody had to get organized on stage. So once people, let me tell you, there was a couple solos before my dancing performance because we all had to get organized on stage. And I was doing squats because during the actual performance, behind closed curtains, I was doing squats because I was so stinking anxious about the dancing one, because the curtain wasn't going to open, and instead of seeing a blank like the gym, you'll see people actually looking at you. So it was very, very scary. I was very comfortable with ASL. I am comfortable with ASL, but when you throw me up in front of people, the comfortableness level subsides and I start getting nervous on the inside. My mom took a short little video of it, and I'm like, yeah, you can tell I'm anxious. Like, my hand motions were not as big as I would have liked them to be because I was really anxious. Instead of like doing something, it was a lot more subtle. But I did the dance, I did the ASL, and I did choir, and I'm really proud that I did those things. I had my choir teacher and my corresponding teacher staying literally right by my side while I sang 2 verses of a song that I've been practicing since February. Right after the solo was done, I turned my teacher went back down on the floor so he could conduct the rest of the song and stuff like that first. And then I turned to my teacher, who was literally less than 2 steps away from me, but again, the audience couldn't see her because she was behind the curtain and I wasn't. Yeah, so I gave her a hug because I was shaking so bad. I was emotional. I wasn't in tears. I was just so emotional. I was like, I can't do this anymore. But so I appreciate the staff members who have seen me from the beginning with practicing the play, because they have seen me from the beginning. So when choir came so the choir was the biggest group, so it took quite a while for everybody to get up on stage and organized. So there were solos, people singing songs together while we were getting organized. So again, there was a lot happening behind the scenes of based on what the audience saw. And I was quietly talking to my supportive correspondent teacher, sharing with her that I'm anxious. And I started doing squats in front of her. And it's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm doing squats. I am doing squats because I am nervous. Because I hate, like, one of my pet peeves, and it happens all the time, is I don't like when my legs shake due to anxiety. So I decided to do squats when I got really nervous and my legs started to shake. Instead of my legs shaking, I was just doing squats, and I was just having the best time that I possibly could before this curtain opened. And then this didn't happen in the practices, but I decided to hold my correspondent's hand. I mean, to the audience, she wasn't visible, but I was visible in the audience. So I went full on holding her hand. And I told my choir teacher afterwards, I was like, yeah, I saw you. I'm like, thanks. Thanks for letting me hold her hand. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just needed the extra sense of comfort on stage because I was freaking out. I had a fidget ball in one hand. I was holding my teacher's hand in the other hand with the other hand. Wow. And then a couple more soloists come up and a couple more groups come up and sing. Smaller groups of people. And then it comes down to handbells. No, I joined the class full time a week before the performances started. So, wow. It was so good. I was anxious about the things. Like, I didn't have to sing. There was no microphone in front of my face and stuff like that. But I'm like, and that was the end of the performance. And again, I gave my teacher another hug because I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what did I just do? It's like, you just performed in your first family weekend play. I'm so excited about how that went. So that was like a lot happens behind the scenes. And also with behind the scenes things, well, because my parts were so spread out from each other, so I did the dancing play part first. So after I was done with the dancing play part, I had to run on to the other side of the building downstairs. So this was upstairs. The stage stuff everything was upstairs. So I had to run downstairs, run to the other side of the building to change shirts. Like, I changed shirts like 3 different times before going. Like, my mom saw me in 3 different shirts within the span of like 2 hours. So yeah, that was the big event in May. Yeah. And I'm, after the fact, I feel so much better after the fact. Like, my anxiety is so much lower than it was. I'm happier. The day after, so this would be Saturday, we did a run/walk, 3K on campus. I loved it. Like, my teacher who saw me who has seen me on stage, who was on stage, so she saw the whole entire performance, and so she seen all my different emotions about the anxiety and stuff. She saw me anxious, she saw me stressed out, she saw everything about me. And I came up with a full-on energy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got such a great night's sleep last night for the first time in who knows how long. And then I'm really, really excited because I'm gonna go run. She knows I like to run. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go run, and I'm gonna go and run fast and all that stuff. She was so happy for me that I actually got a sense of humor back, I guess. I was really, really happy. I ended up I was the 4th student runner to come across the finish line, and I was pretty proud of that because I'm like, oh my gosh, my mom and my brother were gonna run, and they showed up a little bit too late. They could have joined the thing because we got all the walkers too, so they could have joined, to be honest with you, but they didn't want to, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So I basically ran alone. No, I got someone else to run with me, and then I'm like, I'm sorry I ditched you. I asked someone to run with me, and I ditched them because I was running faster than they did. And I'm like, sorry. And I warned them before. Honestly, I warned them before. I'm sorry if I ditch you because I'm gonna run. And I mean, they ran. There's a lot of hills in the race, up hills, down hills, stuff like that. I challenged myself to run up all those hills, and I did. I ran down all the hills. I actually had to stop once to tie my shoe, but other than that, because safety first, you have to tie your shoe so you don't trip. So I did that, and then we had bowling. Bowling was amazing. My choir teacher, or the music director, he was one of the staff members in charge of the bowling people, the bowling thing. So he saw me all excited, pumped up, ready to go. And he was another person that has seen all my emotions, from this nervousness, the anxiousness, the stressed out. He's seen everything. He's seen everything, and then I'm like, oh my god, I'm such a completely different person with a smile on my face for the first time in who knows how long. Life is going, and I am very, very happy, mainly because family weekend's over with, and I had a successful family weekend. I talked to people. My mom came. She met my teachers and all that stuff, and I'm really, really happy. I'm just really happy about how family weekend went, and I'm proud that I survived. And then, yeah, life is going. So that's where I've been updated, the update life of how things are going. So, I hope to talk to you later. I don't know when my next video is gonna go out. So here's the update. Here's the most recent update you got. Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.